Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is June the 26th, 2019. Strong hand. Value your wealth in Bitcoin. Having hype. Unconfiscatable. One Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. Offended by selling. Don't FOMO on altcoins. I don't know how you could have FOMO on altcoins these days. Whoa. In motion. All right, people. Check out the links below. Everything I talk about in this video is linked to below. TCHBALT. Yeah, TechBalt. Follow me there on Twitter. It was my biggest Twitter day ever today. We're going to talk about that in a second. This says Satoshi, like Satoshi Nakamoto. You can get shirts like this linked to below. So let's jump into the halving hype. Back in 2016, and by the way, if you have any questions, I'll answer questions. Type in Bitcoin Meister so I see your questions. I'll answer your questions when I see them. All right. Or you can do a super chat, which is always great. Now, back in 2016, before the halving, Bitcoin was like $400, and I knew the halving was coming. So I told people, let's start the hashtag halving hype. Let's try to hype up the halving so people, the mainstream media will write about it, so people will get excited about it. Because Bitcoin was so small then, I thought that, yeah, just as a YouTube channel, a guy with could start having hype. Now, people use the halving hype hashtag on Twitter, and the price actually went up to $700. Now, it wasn't because of me that the price went up to $700 before the halving, and then it went down. And then at the halving, it was about $600. But I was happy, and we did spread the word. And people did start hyping the halving on their own. The media did start talking about it. Again, it wasn't because of me, but there's always going to be halving hype before a halving. I think we're starting to enter that period because some of the mainstream media people are writing about it. So we can do our part. It doesn't hurt Bitcoin to hype the halving, to tell people about the halving, because so many people do not know about the halving. They just, who knows why they got into it, because someone said, oh, you should buy this altcoin on Coinbase. And that's why they got into it. And then they store their Ethereum on Coinbase and would have no idea how to move it off of Coinbase. Okay, so if you tell people about the halving, if we should all get excited about it. It's coming in May. The supply of new Bitcoin gets cut in half. This is a financial instrument, a limited supply. It's a scarce commodity. We should be proud of that. That's why I got into it. It's not like dollar bills. It's not like everything else that they can keep on printing and printing. And, people are fans of that stuff. But this is the real thing, baby. This is the deflationary currency. It will be. And instead of what we're used to, we're taking a totally different track in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies that have halvings. Assuming that they won't change their fixed supply, because some of the altcoins are so weak that they switch around things. They don't stick with the rules. But Bitcoin, it sticks with the rules. It's set in stone. Halving coming up. We should use the halving hype hashtag. I used it to promote this show. Spread the word about the halving. But it does appear to me that some people, or maybe some institutions, who knows, are buying Bitcoin now because they're starting to figure this thing out. And they understand that there's not going to be as much of it on the market after May of 2020. So tell more people about that. Tell more people about the fact that there's not going to be as much Bitcoin on the market after 2020, after the halving. And so we can get everybody, getting people excited doesn't hurt. It's good, and it's spreading knowledge. So pound that like button for the halving hype. And yeah, I know it sounds kind of funny saying how pumped I was for Bitcoin to hit $700 before the 2016 halving. I mean, today it went down by $1,400 in about a minute at one point, right? And we'll talk about that. Again, by the way, This Week in Bitcoin is Friday, 10 a.m. Los Angeles time, 1 p.m. East Coast time. BTC Benny will be on, Gigi will be on, Steve Barber will be on. Those last two guys have never been on before. They're very interesting dudes. So you've read Gigi's stuff before. Steve Barber is the guy on the Alberta-Saskatchewan border that mines Bitcoin with natural gas waste from oil rigs. you've heard about him before. I found I met him a year ago. I heard about him a little over. I met him, yeah, a year ago. I met him. I found out about him over a year ago, and I've been talking about him for over a year now. So speaking about the old days, and you should, again, seriously, follow me on Twitter at TechVault. What I tweeted out today basically went viral, a little video of mine. Josh Owen says, getting his Bitcoin out of cold storage. Bitcoin Meister getting his Bitcoin out of, yeah, it's in the, I keep the Bitcoin in the freezer at the Airbnb in Los Angeles. Found that fun. Now, I wouldn't advise keeping well, who knows? Maybe I'll keep your recovery seeds in freezers. That's a very interesting concept. I haven't heard of that one yet. That might be, you might be onto something there, Josh Owens. Thank you for the statement there. But yeah, today I tweeted out, and I spoke about this 2014, the September 19th, 2014 video before, where I tell people to spend $10,000 on 23.8 Bitcoin. And well, that's what it would have bought you then, because Bitcoin was $420 then. And actually in the video, you will notice this is in the video. I still have the same water bottle, yet Bitcoin was $420 then, and now it's $12,500. And you better believe I have more Bitcoin than I had then. But I still, no need to buy another water bottle, despite my long-term thinking and what it has brought me. But you can look back on that video and see that, yeah, I've been saying the same thing all along. And that $10,000 worth of Bitcoin that I advised people to buy on that day is now worth over $300,000. And that doesn't include the B Cash and the B Gold and the BSV that you would have got. So please retweet it. It's been spreading like wildfire. It is linked to below. It says September 19th, 2014. It's just a 45-second clip on Twitter. I hadn't really done that with Twitter before, but it's apparently people like it, and it's pretty entertaining. So a guy on Twitter who follows me, I was really flattered when he said this to me. So glad I listened to your show religiously during the bear market. No FOMO here. And I really like that. No FOMO here. People who've been watching my show for a while, there shouldn't be any FOMO at all, because you should already have gotten your Bitcoin when it was cheaper. When it was $3,000, maybe way back when it was $200 or $400 when I was talking about it. And because again, yes, I did have videos when it was $250 or something like that. When I said it's the perfect gift for children, I said to buy 0.1 Bitcoin, to give it to a kid at his bris for $25, and I actually did that. My friend's son, he was born in April or May of 2015. I spent $25 on 0.1 Bitcoin, and he has that 0.1 Bitcoin now that's worth like over $1,250. That was a great, and the kid is only 4 years old. He probably has a lot more Bitcoin than a lot of many people who watch this show, unfortunately, because he's got the B Cash and the B Gold too, I guess. But the point is that no one who watches this show should be FOMOing. They should be quite comfortable with the stash they already have if they've been watching the show long enough, because they listen to me. They buy it now. Oh, don't trade, don't lose it. Just stash it now. In the future, you will be think 2020 halving. Well, if you thought 2020 halving, you would have bought it as far away from the 2020 halving as possible, at the first time you grasp that concept. So I'd love to hear that my viewers are not FOMOing now, but there are many people out there that are clearly FOMOing, which is great for us, the holders. Great, let them FOMO. They didn't want to listen. They didn't know about the halving. They didn't know about this, that, and the other. They thought buying Litecoin was a good idea, or buying whatever the flavor of the month was a good idea. Buying Steam was a good idea when you can get that for free. Never buy anything you get for free. Pound that like button. Another one of the sayings on the show. And then people are like, well, why do you have all these sayings? Well, why do you buy things that I get for free? What do you? I'd rather have sayings than waste my money on things. My sayings mean things. You shouldn't just say, oh, it's a stupid saying. It's a real thing. You're the dude who bought the Steam and it's worth nothing now. I'm the guy who got the free Steam and turned it into Bitcoin. And that Bitcoin's worth a heck of a lot more than the Steam that I was earning back in 2016. Pound that like button. Yeah, and pound that like button. It's a saying, but it supports the show, whatever. We want more people to hear about this kind of thing, to know to be holders. I want more holders of last resort. Holders of last resort are great. But hey, man, no fancy sensor graphics, so it's only gonna attract a certain caliber It's only gonna, it's only gonna attract the 20%ers. Be proud and loud, you 20%ers. Yeah, baby. All right. It's conviction, baby. It's conviction. Stick with it. Long-term thinking. Don't be impulsive. Deferral of gratification. Defer gratification. Look how great. Watch that video today. Watch that video that I just recommended from 2014 and see how I've deferred gratification. I still have the same freaking water bottle that I travel around the entire world with. All right. No need to buy a new water bottle, even though I'm... Whoa. Okay, so... okay, we're talking about the lack of FOMO by the 20%ers. Very good, guys. Again, disruptmeister.com. You can see all of my old shows. You can be proactive and actually watch them and learn some stuff, or you can just wait around on Twitter until I tweet out a 30-second clip or whatever. So here is a rumor that Vinny Lingham tweeted out, and I'm going to comment on the importance of Vinny Lingham tweeting this out in a second. And two guys were talking about this. Kruger, who might, I think this is the dude who might be on my show soon. Does someone know something is what I'm wondering here. Theories on this. Bitcoin is trading as if a large nation were about to announce the inclusion of Bitcoin as a reserve asset. That's how bullish price action has been. The buying pressure during the Asian session was extraordinary. All right. And then someone else mentioned this theory. Vinny Lingham back in 2016 predicted that soon enough, some country out there was going to buy Bitcoin, put it into its reserves, just like they buy gold, just like they buy dollars. But of course, the nation could not admit it was doing that because then every other nation, once they found out, would try to do it too, and it would cause a pump it up. So you want to, if you're a nation and you're buying up Bitcoin, you want to be as discreet as possible about it so people don't realize that you're doing it, so that everyone else buys it before you could buy it on the cheap. So some people now are thinking that maybe some nation is doing this and someone is figuring it out that a nation is doing, or some insider knows that some nation out there is doing this. And that is why a lot of people are buying it right now. That could be part of it. But I do want to give Vinny Lingham credit. He talked about this theory in 2016. Perhaps we've reached the day when we're going to find out if it's really happening. And again, a lot of people don't like Vinny now for whatever reasons. Dude, if you were following him back in 2016, you'd probably be quite happy right now, like I am, because it was that that article where he talked about that. That was one of the things that just made it click in my head, and I went on a tremendous Bitcoin buying spree in 2016 before the halving, right around when that article came out. I think that article came out in April, and I really increased my position by quite a bit back then. And so yeah, Vinny, he's not right on everything. But that was, and he said that, Bitcoin will be, he said it'd be $3,000 by the end of 2017 or something like that. It'd be $3,000, and people thought, oh, that's tremendous, and that really clicked in my head too. I was like, okay, let me put myself in a good position. I think it's going to be $3,000 at some point in 2017. Let me put myself in a position where I'm going to benefit from that. And yeah. Again, you got to set goals. People are always asking me, how much Bitcoin do I need? How much Bitcoin do I need? You got to figure out, do you want to be a millionaire? Well, how much do you need to be a millionaire? And how fast do you want to be a millionaire by? I mean, that's something you have to figure out for yourself, based on your knowledge, based on the stuff you read. When do you think it's going to be $20,000? Or do you think it's only going to be $1,000 next month? Like Bikini Babes. All right, so. Or do you just like watching hot women on Twitter and you drool and you like to waste money? I mean, you could do that too if you want to. Nothing, I mean, it doesn't hurt me. Personal responsibility is new counterculture. Don't come begging for money from me though. All right. Are there any, Josh Owen says, are there any estimates on what the WimbleWimble airdrop ratio will be? Well, no, I estimated it in the previous show. I thought it would be 100. I thought it would be 100 to 1. And it's going to, right, I think the last thing Chris said, and I could be wrong, I don't want to, that they 35,000 Bitcoin had been registered. And so I assumed that 60,000 Bitcoin will end up being registered. So 60,000 Bitcoin are registered, and they're giving away 6 million to the registrants. There you go. That's 100. 100 times 60,000 is 6 million. So I think it's going to be 100. But at the pace, all of a sudden, it looked like the pace he picked up. So it could be less than 100. Again, I talked about this on a previous show. We shouldn't be hyping it up too much until after the 19th, once we have our free WimbleWimble. Because the more we talk about it now, the more people will register, the less free WimbleWimble we will get. But whatever, that's it. I don't work for the team or anything like that. Andy's in charge of the marketing. A lot of people are like, oh, Andy has no Bitcoin. How the heck will Andy get WimbleWimble? I mean, go to the MWC.MW. Look at who works for the coin. One of the people is Andy Hoffman. He's getting MWC for it. So I mean, that's how he's getting his MWC. He's being compensated. I mean, I know it's an old-fashioned concept to get paid for your work, but there you go, guys. For the people, how does he get any other MWC? How is he going to, if he has no Bitcoin? Well, there you go. That's how he does it. It's right there. It's nothing's hidden over there. MWC.MW. Again, for those of you who don't know what the heck I'm talking about, when you hold Bitcoin, you get to register for airdrops. You get forks. Those are crypto dividends. You get interest for earning your Bitcoin. If you control your own private key. If you keep it at Coinbase, you get nothing. So, I mean, and you don't really own your Bitcoin. So get yourself a Trezor, put your Bitcoin on there, and register for the airdrops. And watch this show. You get the insider information here. And hardly anyone knows that insider information, that if you control your own private key, you get crypto dividends. You're a reward. People don't get this concept that you get interest on your Bitcoin, that you get crypto dividends. It's unfortunate. But hey, insider information right here. Pound that like button. A lot of people have benefited. So watch this show at least. But Josh, thank you for the question. Thank you for the question. So I guess I hope it's 100-to-1 ratio. I want to get as much as possible, turn it into Bitcoin. What the heck? It's free. And then, of course, I'm going to love it. I'm sure on July 20th, when I'm in Israel, the day after the registration ends, there'll be people like, how do I buy MWC? How do I? Oh, my God. All right. So I have said strong hand, and that we've had that, you got to have a strong hand in good times and bad times. And that we got roller coaster days some days, and some days it can drop by 1,000, it can go up by 1,000. Well, today, when I was about to take my nap, because I only slept 4 hours last night, and then I went running like 6 miles, and then I got on my computer and I was just so happy that everyone was happy and people were retweeting my thing, and I just got carried away. And right when I'm about to take my nap, all of a sudden the fiat price drops more than I'd ever seen it drop in such a short period of time. I mean, it was like in 5 minutes, it went down like $1,700. And I just went to sleep. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to sleep. I mean, that's how much of a strong hand I have. But eventually I found out that Coinbase had an outage, that Coinbase stopped working. And thus there was a panic. And this reminded me of 2016 so much. This happened a few times back in the day. Coinbase could not handle the traffic, and it would stop, and people would panic, and there'd be a drop, and then people would try to get on for. I think it was actually once it was so crazy, Bitfinex got hacked. The price started dropping so fast, so much, like from 700 to 580, that everyone got on the Coinbase and tried to buy it, and you couldn't buy it on Coinbase. It just stopped working. Well, today, Coinbase just randomly stopped working, and it wasn't random. It's a bullish sign, actually. So as Bitcoin was going up today, so many people were buying it that it broke Coinbase. And thus, when Coinbase broke, all the speculators start spreading panic and start selling, so other people start selling so they can buy it back. And anyway, it's nothing fundamentally wrong with Bitcoin at all. It was just that's what happened. But those of you who have been in this game for a long time, like me, have seen this happen. But the funny thing is, and it isn't the most positive thing in the world in this aspect, that Coinbase, which is the biggest on-ramp for Americans, still can't handle surges. So it's still early days, guys. If Coinbase, this mega-funded company, which many Americans use to buy their Bitcoin and store their Bitcoin, stops working during a FOMO period. That's not good, but there's nothing wrong with Bitcoin. And again, we've seen this before. And so if those of you were wondering why did it drop so suddenly, that is why. Coinbase stopped working. But this has happened before. So again, it is a little bit of some entities, I would think it's just regular people, regular retail people we're buying so much Bitcoin that it stopped working on Coinbase. But maybe they're just some larger entities. That's how they get their Bitcoin. I don't know. It stopped working. That's good that Coinbase is getting that much traffic that it breaks. So USA Today has an article about this, actually. Bitcoin rallied to its highest price since January 2018 on Wednesday before dropping $1,000 after U.S. markets closed. Oh, my God. So what's the biggest part of that story there? Well, USA Today is this mainstream. I mean, did an intern write this article? After U.S. markets closed, Bitcoin market never closes. Just because the United States stock market closes doesn't mean the Bitcoin market has closed. I mean, they're confused. What's going on? And in the article, it repeats it again. In the title, it said it. In the article, it said it. So, this is the thing, dudes. If you're still in that mentality where markets close, then I guess that's why you buy GBTC or whatever. Because the GBTC, the market closes with GBTC, okay? But Bitcoin market never closes. Welcome to the 21st century. 21st century. This is where the big boys play. There's no closing of markets here. The Bitcoin price went down at 5 p.m., whatever it was. I guess it was in the afternoon on the East Coast. I don't even know. Yeah, I guess it was about 5 p.m. on the East Coast. I was going to take the nap around 2 p.m. here, I think. I don't know. But again, it's just, don't get your Bitcoin information from USA Today. Don't get any information from USA Today. USA Today is like a total Disney World. I can remember being in Disney World as a kid, and I would love it because you wake up in the morning and you go out and they give you the complimentary USA Today, and you could see the Orioles score and see that the Orioles won, hopefully. So, but yeah, it's a total Disney. It's like Disney. It's make believe basically. It's fantasy is USA Today. They're living in but I mean, some people love to be in that world. I mean, again, a lot of you tonight were watching the Democratic. A lot of talk on Twitter today was about the Democratic debate. Don't know a thing that happened about it today. I know about what happened in Bitcoin, though. So who's going to be better off in the long term? The people who knew about Bitcoin today or the people who knew about Beto O'Rourke and Elizabeth Warren picking her nose and doing the tomahawk chop? I mean, who's going to be in better shape in 4 years? I mean, it's ridiculous that people keep – and the funny thing is I have a video from like 2015 or 2015 or 16 talking about Hillary Clinton and everybody. And, why do people waste their time on these politicians? I said, and I didn't waste my time on these politicians, clearly. I was talking about the Bitcoin halving. So you could have halving in 2015 or you could have Hillary. Who's doing better? The dudes that had halving or the dudes that have Hillary? You know who's doing better because the dudes that were talking about Hillary are still crying out there that they're poor and they need to be need Bernie to pay off their college debt and everything like that. I mean, if you'd have no college debt anymore if you knew about the halving in 2015, pound that like button. Okay. I mean, personal responsibility. That's the difference. The people who have no personal responsibility, they put their faith in Hillary. The people who have personal responsibility put their faith in mathematics of halving. Okay, you don't need faith. It's mathematics. There's no faith in mathematics. There's knowledge in mathematics. Okay, we talked about crypto dividends. We talked about USA Today. What a state the USA is in today. Lovely. But again, you don't have to worry about it. If you're in the 20%, if you're in the Bitcoin overlay, it's just laugh at all of it. All right. When I was running today, and again, I haven't listened to music for quite some time because I'm in the morning period still. I thought about the song Magical Mystery Tour by the Beatles, a song I quite enjoy, but I haven't heard for a long time. And I'm just, thinking of it in my head. And then I'm like, Magical Mystery Tour? How about Magical Mystery Talk? This is a great term. The BSV people, so many of them, it's magical mystery talk. That's the way they talk. They talk about these nebulous predictions. You will see, and then they throw in technical jargon, and Jim Jones will reveal by the time of the 2020 halving, and then they put in some technical jargon, some nebulous predictions. It's never going to be it's magical mystery talk. It's complete BS basically, but it sounds kind of fancy, sounds kind of mysterious. Sounds kind of psychedelic. Maybe you can you can kind of picture George and Ringo and whatever. No, you picture Jim Jones and other sociopaths wearing psychedelic clothes, I guess, and saying things that make no sense. But it's like, you will see. And it's magical mystery talk. The magical mystery tour is coming to take you away. And yeah, it's coming to take you away. Clearly there's another comparison. Coming to take you away. Oh yeah, they're coming to take you away. Don't get taken away by that. Don't get taken by that. Okay, it's great to be a holder. No stress, says Casso 20%er. Yeah, dude. it is great to be a 20%er. It's great to be a holder. No stress at all. You get to watch it all, baby. All right. All right, here, final tweet of the day. This is from Pirate Beach Bum, who had a nice profile of me on his blog recently. It was in a show from a month ago or 2 months ago. Yeah, I was still in Baltimore when he did that. That was very nice. He says, had a Harvard MBA tell me that money from Bitcoin will move to Libra and tank the price of Bitcoin. This is a perfect example of how an Ivy League degree doesn't mean you are smarter than a scrub Bitcoin plebe. Good luck with that. So yeah, I mean, he actually might have a higher IQ than a Bitcoin plebe, but he doesn't have knowledge. He doesn't have wisdom. Wisdom and IQ, totally different things, okay? You could have dudes that are IQ, very high IQ, get into drugs. And I think I have one guy specifically, so impulsive, you could tell he was so smart and it never clicked for him. And he would say things like that. He's obsessed with politics now too, I think. And he still does the drugs, I think. But Harvard MBA, you would assume, okay, that person's not doing it. That person's just really smart, and they got an MBA. They should understand business, right? But no, this is we're in a whole new world here. This doesn't go by the traditional things where corporations can, well-funded corporations can take things over, can take the space over. They can play with the big boys here, but it's apples and oranges with the Facebook coin and Bitcoin. Apples and oranges. But that being said, Libra and all its hype that will happen. There will be Libra hype. Why would you own Ripple still? I don't get why you would own a centralized corporate coin like Ripple when you could own a big brand name centralized corporate coin like Libra. They'll give it away for free. They've already got a network effect. I mean, they've got a gimmick. We're going to make people in Indonesia rich and all this stuff I've heard. You know, we're going to turn the third world rich and good luck. Let them try. If they could give the third world people some Facebook coin and you can easily change that Libra into Bitcoin, then that will be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. But I think it is going to hurt some altcoins. So this MBA guy, if he just replaces the word Bitcoin with altcoins, then he's on to something. He's definitely he's on to. So we'll see how it plays out. Again, don't FOMO on altcoins, so you don't have to worry about this because Bitcoin doesn't have to worry about Libra. Some altcoins, especially those super centralized pre-mined ones like Ripple, which is basically what Libra's going to do, yet they might have to worry. But I mean, who the heck would buy Ripple? All right, I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Remember, I mean, just because some semi-hot woman told you to buy Ripple, I mean, if you're still falling for it, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Pound that like button is what I have to say. Bang that bell button so you get reminders when this show goes live. Or maybe you will. It depends on what YouTube feels like. Doesn't matter. Follow me on Twitter, though. You'll know when this show goes live. It's TechBalt, TCHBALT. Click on those squares to see my past shows, the recent shows. I will, thanks a lot, guys. And I will say hi to all of you in the chat. That's Satoshi. That's real. That's not Jim Jones. All right. See ya.